everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today is an exciting video. I've been wanting to do this since I started. I just kind of didn't know when to do it, and so I've had some encouragement from my girls at Sephora to do this, so here it is. I'm just going to be talking about my experience at Sephora. Yeah, Murph's being a little baby and wants to sit up here. Where do I even begin? So I'll just give a little bit of a background. I went to school to be a teacher kid, so I went to UNC Charlotte. It was called Birth Through Kindergarten, so it was like a dual program where I could be a BK teacher and also special ed. So I was doing that, and basically they screwed me over saying I need to take these courses before these, and I was a straight A student, and then it's a long story, but basically they screwed me over to where I would have to do a whole other year of school. I'm sure a lot of you out there have had that happen to you. Unfortunately, I think it happens more than it should. I couldn't do that because I knew I was going to be getting married that next summer, and Mike's in the Army, so I just knew that was going to work, and I wasn't going to be paying money that I didn't need to be paying. I went back home to finish up at least a degree with the same field of teaching, but just an associate's. And then the community college did the same thing to me twice, so I was just kind of sick of giving my money and not seeing anything in return. It's really frustrating. In the process of all that, I have been doing, my own makeup. I was doing makeup for prom. I was always doing my sister's prom makeup. And then, once I kind of got more into it, I was asking my friends to come over and I could do their makeup and take pictures and kind of work on my website just for fun. Never thought of it as a career. And then, when all that happened, I was like, okay, I know I love doing makeup. I just never had the drive to go out and pursue it. I needed to do something, so one of my friends, Jessica Abrego, who's now Jessica Anderson, she worked at a Sephora and JCPenney at the time, and every time I saw her, she looked like she just loved her job, and that had always been in the back of my mind. My dad was always like, Corrine, you need to just go to Sephora, go get a job there. Then I just decided to apply to Sephora. So I applied online, then I kept waiting to hear back. It was in the summer, so I remember checking my email every day. And then one day I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna make my makeup look bomb, go in and be like, hi, I applied, la la la. I was like, hi, I want to talk to the hiring manager because I've applied and I'm just waiting to hear back on the process of my application. And it turned out to be Carrie Lewis, who is the hiring, the specialist, and she did all the hiring. So she was like, hi, that's me. And I was like, my LA was like, gulp. Hello. Basically, weeks went by, and then I had an interview with one other girl, and it was with Carrie. Just really simple. Like, if I had to have an interview, just be yourself, look professional, make sure your makeup looks great, and then just answer the questions. I was so nervous, but once we were talking, I just, you're just talking about your how your past jobs relate to what you can do at Sephora. And Carrie was great, so it made you feel very comfortable. So it was a very easy and awesome first interview, which I had never had before. And I was very nervous because this is my first professional career possibility interview. So I was like, oh my gosh. I had retail experience. I worked in retail for from when I was 16 till up in that point, 22. So I had a lot of retail experience, but no cosmetology school, no. So I didn't think I could get it. So at that point I was like, well, maybe they could hire me as a cashier. I didn't really know. So I thought I was really just going to be hired as a cashier since I didn't have any prior professional makeup experience, if that makes sense. Then I got called in for another interview weeks later. So this whole time process, a lot of time, because it just takes a while because they're very busy. That's why. My second interview was with the store director, Althea, and I was very nervous for that. Even though she was so nice every time I talked to her, I just get very nervous about everything. I get nervous to call freaking Verizon, asking questions. I'm just a psycho. It was very chill. We just both sat down, and she just wanted to get to know me, and we just talked, and they just want to make sure you're not a lunatic and that you're going to be a good fit for the job. So that one went really well as well. They email you and say, welcome to Sephora, blah, blah, blah. You got the job, but then it's weeks and weeks and weeks until you actually start training. It was also before, at that point it was September, but I knew they were preparing for a big hire for holiday. So it was just a busy time. So I just kind of had to go with the flow and just wait until they were ready for me. I came to find out, you know, so I go in for training and then I just meet in my little training. I remember meeting, you know, the friends you make are the friends you're gonna have for life. Like, I just remember talking to all my girls and now we're just best friends, but then you're just scared and like just talking because you're nervous. And basically, I think we had training in November, so I had to wait a good like couple months. Training, I think there was, oh gosh, maybe 8 other girls. You just go into Sephora and you're in the back and you're just wearing black, like you're not gonna be on the floor for a while, so don't worry. It's just a lot of book work and they train you. Long story short, kind of lucked out because I got hired as a core member. And then, they waited for me to do training with Holiday. So this whole time I was just thought I was Holiday, and I was like, oh my gosh, you know, work for a couple months and hopefully they'll keep me. And then I found out that I wasn't, so I was really excited. So if you are getting hired for Holiday, work your butt off and show your passion, because if they see that and they see that you have awesome qualities, then they'll keep you. If not, then it's just not a good fit and they'll have you try again next time. So you do a lot of training. So you do not have to have a cosmetology license. You don't have to go to esthetician school. I mean, that always helps, just so they know that you have experience in that. But for me, coming from being a teacher and just loving to do makeup, like, you don't have to have a degree. You don't have to have a specific license. Even though I knew kind of basics just from my own, like I self-taught myself, they put you through so much training. You learn so much. It's incredible. So I really encourage you, if you're just kind of scared because you don't have the training, go get a job anyways, or go apply, because they will train you and it's awesome. I got hired in color. Basically, Sephora is broken down into 3 worlds. So skin, they have color, and they have fragrance. Girls that you see in the skincare world, like, they know their stuff. Especially if they're like a skin lead, they know everything there is to know about skin. It's just incredible. It's too much to talk about. So if you are all about skincare, look on, you know, on Sephora's website, on the careers.com or whatever it is. They'll list what they're looking for in each location. So if you see like skin consultant and you just love skincare and you're an esthetician and you love learning about that, apply, because it's incredible. Hired in color. They don't throw you in just doing makeovers. Like, that's a long ways down the road. I just learned so much about the beauty industry. I was very comfortable with the whole retail aspect of Sephora, and just about new products. You would love it. So I'm all over the place. Little notepad. I need to just go off that because this is just all over the freaking place. You will learn so much. That's one thing. Sephora really invests a lot of money in training their cast members. So that's something that's a blessing, because I just learned so much from them. And it's a lot of like hands-on. You know, at first you're just kind of, oh my gosh, I work at Sephora. You're just trying to learn the basics. But I had certain people that really wanted to push me. And I remember the first time I did someone's like a color IQ. First time I did that, I was like so nervous, even though I knew I could do full face makeup, but just do color IQ, I was just so nervous because I knew at that point, I work at Sephora, this is my job, oh my gosh. And after that first like encounter with a client, and like she loved everything, it was just really awesome. And at that point I was like, I love my job. I was just on a working high, and I had never experienced that before. Like, I loved going to work. Like, if you ever get hired at Holiday, it's crazy. That's just how it is. Like, when you go to the mall, no matter what, it's crazy in there, especially at Sephora. Like, that's just how, you know, I see a lot of people on YouTube that make Sephora's the worst place to work at videos. Like, you were there for probably 1 or 2 months, you probably had a bad attitude, and you didn't try, you know? Just girls that come in from different Sephoras, transfer as possible. So like when me and Mike were moving to Tennessee and we'll be close to Nashville, hopefully I mean, I'm not at a Sephora now because we moved and Mike's in the military. That's one thing I need to say in the beginning. I didn't quit, well, I gave my notice, but I didn't quit on bad terms. My husband's in the military and we had to move, and I told them that going in, and they knew that, so it wasn't weird or anything. I just loved them, and I think they were sad to see me go, so it was like a mutual, like, oh, I don't want to leave. But if I stayed and say there was a Sephora here, in Georgia wanted to transfer, then, you know, if there's an opening that they'll work with you. So that's something good to know. Like if you know that, oh, you might be moving, if there's a Sephora, they can hopefully work with you. It's not 100% guaranteed, but oh my gosh, this is not about you, my baby. You know, and they look for really good attitudes. Like that's the main thing. Sephora is very big on their values and the, you know, the characteristics and the people that they hire. So if you have a good attitude and you have a lot of ambition, hopefully they can see that. One, they do so much training, you will learn so much. And the people, I mean, like, I have best friends that are from Sephora. Some are, you know, were my boss, and some are just fellow colleagues that were on the same level as me. So it's just a really big learning environment. Like it's almost like when you first start, you're like a sponge, and everything someone tells you, you know, you soak it up. So the little things that I took from my lead artists and people around me that have stuck with me to now. Like I remember one time April told me I was, you know, doing someone's eyeliner, and she could see I was struggling because you know, it was skipping or something, and she told me like the certain way to hold the eyelid, do the liner, and until like ever since then I was like rocking eyeliner, you know. So it really just, you have to be open to, you know, learn from others, and that's how you're going to be successful. It's just a really big learning environment. They teach you so much, and they want you to succeed. That's the best thing I got from Sephora. Like at other jobs I was like, they don't care about me, they just are using me, you know, to get their hours in, and you know, it's not like that. You're a director to see where do you see yourself in the future with Sephora. So, you know, they care, they want you to be happy, and they want you to be doing what you want to do. Barf. Sephora in general as a company, it's just a really, really great company. You know, there's people there that have been there for 5 years, 1 year, 2 years, 10 years. People love it, and you know, if you ever get a job there, you'll know why. The perks at working at Sephora, the number one is gratis. You probably watch hauls and hauls on Sephora, and I am gonna do a big haul one day. It's just too much. Like I have too much makeup. Oh, and the struggle is real. You know, it was once every maybe month. But you know, basically brands would come in and they will teach you about their brand, and then, you know, if you train with them, they'll kind of come and leave you little like gratis. So at the end of the month or whatever, your whole bin is filled with free stuff and you get to take it home, you know. So it's really cool because they do that because they want you to learn about the products, use them, sell them. So that was the number one bonus for me, because I worked at Sephora, but I was also doing freelance on the side, which I still do now. You know, those are free products, and makeup is not, that kind of makeup isn't cheap, and you know, most of us are on a budget. So when you're doing like 10 bridesmaids and a bride, makeup becomes expensive. So getting those, you know, that gratis was really awesome. I mean, what girl doesn't want free makeup? I made best friends for life. You know, I went to work, and you know, you can confide in each other. Like if you're both just having an off day, you know, you can just tell each other what you're feeling, and you know, help each other out, and you'll just like appreciate the store. Like, you know, before going in, it was like, Sephora, oh my gosh, I'm shopping at Sephora, this is so amazing. It's amazing. But then when you're working there, you really appreciate everything that everyone contributes to making it successful. Probably you people out there that just shop at Sephora, you probably don't understand that there are little elves there behind the scenes, and you probably don't even know that. And those people, I had so much, like just seeing what they did the first couple times, those are the people that I had so much respect for, because it's a lot of hard work, you know. And then sometimes, you know, I had to do that not a lot, but I was one of the few that did it every now and then. So I would have to, you know, stay overnight, and you know, when you get so much shipment in, like you can't do that during the day. So I would stay overnight, and you're up for like almost, if you have stuff to do the day of, you're up for 24 hours, and you kind of just have a better understanding and more respect for the people that actually do that. Like that's their main job. Seeing what everyone's job is. Everyone has a different job, and then, you know, everyone comes together and makes it a whole production, and you have respect for everyone that does what they do. So you walk in, not everyone does makeup, you know. You know, there's the color world, like I said, the skin, people that work in fragrance, and then there's girls that, you know, really just work at cash wrap, and that's, you know, and that's how I started. Just, you know, when you start, you pretty much start at cash wrap and then you kind of work your way up, and it's not easy. And that, I don't know, you just learn to appreciate everyone for what they do. I will say, it's not everyone's running around with lollipops in their hands and you go to work and work's awesome every single day. Like, it's still a job and you work your butt off. I don't think I've ever worked as hard as I did when I worked at Sephora. And that's just because of what it is. The #1 leading beauty store in the world. So there's a lot of high standards, you know, coming from corporate, and then you want to keep that name up. So you have to work really hard, and you have certain goals you have to meet, and they, you know, you don't work off commission. That's one thing I think a lot of people don't realize. You still have goals for yourself, like you still want to sell a lot, you still want to do good, and but I think Sephora is coming into, like, not just focusing on numbers, but they've always making sure, like, the client feels welcome, the client feels loved, the client feels like they came in and they got what they needed. I love Ulta, but, you know, sometimes I'll go in there and it's like, hello, I'm over here and I need some help, and you don't get that. Hate on anyone, but that's just how it is. But in Sephora, they really make sure that when you work there, you are making sure that each client feels loved and that they come in and they get what they need, and that you're not just ripping them off. Like, you are giving them a specific formula of what they need, not just, it's not the same for everyone. If you want to make women feel amazing about themselves, if you want to learn how to do makeup and excel at it, if you want to learn the skin world, if you want to be in management for an amazing company, I mean, everyone there is doing what they love. Like, for me, I was just all about the art of the makeup, and that's this position I wanted to be in. So, you know, there's some girls that are there doing that, but they also want to, you know, run their own store one day, because they like the business side of it. And then there's girls that want to go up even more corporate than that. So there is so much room for growth. That's the other thing I was going to talk about. There is so much room for growth. Every couple months they'll sit you down and make sure that you're in the path that you want to go in to eventually be in the position that you want. You know, and that takes a while sometimes, but they're always about making sure that you are on the path that you want. So that's really great, because you don't really find that too much. So I feel like I've rambled so much. There's a lot of pros that outweigh the cons. I mean, I'm not going to make it sound like it's a perfect world. I mean, there were a lot of days where I would come home like, oh my gosh, I don't want to see another person. Because at the same time, you have to keep a smile on your face, and you are dealing with people, and that's the retail side of it. I'm not the Sephora side of it where it's annoying, but the retail side, like, and I'm used to that, but it's a little bit more personal when you're coming in and you're like moisturizing someone's face and they're just being rude to you, because people are out there and, like, not everyone's as nice as you are. So when there's clients coming in and they're just being rude to you, but you kind of have to just deal with it, that's not fun, and you have to do that over and over and over again. It's just, so the cons, I would say, you know, just like working with anyone who can come in, you just don't know who you're dealing with. As that is a factor, like, there were clients that I was like, I would have to be on walkie, like, I need someone to come help me because I'm about to lose my freaking mind. But and that was a big part of it. That's just when you work in a job and you deal with people, that's just part of it. But then there were the clients that it got very personal sometimes, and you would be crying because you just felt that woman, like you connected with her. I mean, I remember one time I had a client who had cancer and she had no hair, but, like, you know, just me teaching her little tips and tricks to give her a little bit more life in the face. I mean, and some of these women just pour their life story out, and you're like, oh my gosh. It's just very humbling. And to make a woman feel beautiful that didn't feel beautiful, not because of what you did, but because you're helping her enhance her own beauty and you're teaching her how to do it at home, that's huge. It's the most amazing thing, I think, at working at Sephora. They really want to teach women that they're all beautiful, they can go home and do it themselves, versus just piling on cake face and then just shooing them off. They really care. So like I said, you're gonna get those clients that are not nice, and that's just, you go to the freaking Walmart and there's people that are like rude to you, and that's just life. But so you have to deal with that, but then there's it kind of makes up for when you have the really sweet women that come in and they know you by name after they come in all the time, and you kind of build a relationship with them and they're your friends. So it's really, it's an awesome thing. I'm trying to think what else I can say. Busy, like I've said, that was the most I've ever worked, like the hardest I've ever worked. You know, I would go in, you know, 11 to 8 or 8 in the morning to 5, or you know, when you have to close and you have to stay an extra hour and a half and you're on your feet all day. That's hard, like you're tired. And I was also, half the time I was planning a wedding and knowing I was gonna be moving, and I had all other different stress too. So when you kind of have that going on, like with any job, that's gonna make everything feel 10 times worse. But if you go in and, you know, for me, I just had on days where I was just struggling, and I would have been struggling anywhere, no matter if it was at Sephora or, you know, in school or whatever job you work at, like I would have to pray, have a good attitude, and then it would be good. It is hard work. It's not easy, but I think it is rewarding at the end of the day, especially if you're trying to grow somewhere and you're trying to work your way up. You definitely have to have that attitude. Oh, I did ask some questions like weeks and weeks and weeks ago when I only had like 400 subscribers, and now I'm up to followers on Instagram. I'm at like 615, so thank you. I'm working there. I'm trying to get there. So Brenna Bowman, woo woo. You said, have you ever had difficulties when you do someone's makeup? Like the client themselves was very difficult. That's when it kind of would make me not focus on the makeup and my artistic skills, and I would just kind of be more emotional about it, and then I would get upset and then mess up, and then it's just a whole, so most of the time when I had difficulties doing someone's makeup, it's when they had a really bad attitude. Amy Davis, what's it like working all those crazy girls? Ooh, my goodness. That's one thing I do want to talk about. If you are someone that doesn't get along with women, this is not the job for you. Because, you know, there are Sephoras that men work at and they are allowed to work there, but at my Sephora, it was all women. We had a lot of staff, so there was at least I worked with 20 other women every day. So with that being said, at Sephora, we're all sassy. So there were times where you would bump heads, or you would be like, oh my gosh, that girl's driving me crazy today. That's just part of working with women. So that's another part of it, but you have that everywhere else. So yes, those girls are crazy, but I love them. Emily, my sister-in-law, what was your #1 recommended product from the Sephora brand? That's a really good question. I feel like obviously you want to, like, everyone loved when you had a really big basket and you like sold a lot and it was awesome, but I really try to read people and their budget so I could help them find what they needed based on their budget. So if I had someone that really didn't have a lot, like $200 to spend, I really wasn't trying to push a $50 foundation. I would go walk them to Sephora collection and be like, look, this stuff is a little bit cheaper, but the quality is still there and it's really awesome. So I'm all about Sephora collection. Sephora contour kit is only $28. I've had it at least probably almost a year now, and I've barely dipped into it, and I use it on all my clients. Their new Bright Future Concealer, they have a billion shades, and I think they just came out with corrector shades too. So if you are looking for a concealer, it's only $14 and I love it. So that's what I would recommend from the Sephora brand. Mel, who is your favorite cast member to work with? I can't answer that because I don't think I can make that decision. It is what you put into it. So days where I had a bad attitude, or days where I was just personally like going through a lot, like that's when the hard work would kind of wear on me, and then everything seemed like it was 10 times worse. So I do think, and that's how it is with any job, I think you get what you put into it. So if you are out there and you're looking for a career in the beauty world and you're just now starting out, Sephora is the place to be, because I don't know what I would do if I never worked at Sephora, because now I'm a freelance makeup artist on my own. I have had so many opportunities through it. I never thought, like, you know, one day I did the Wake Forest women's basketball team's makeup for all the players and their coaches. I mean, I would have never thought at that point at Charlotte when everything felt like it was crumbling and I didn't know what my future was going to be like as far as career-wise. Like I never thought I would be doing that. So, and I still have hope for what I'm going to be doing next. I mean, the opportunities are endless, and I feel like that's all because of Sephora, because Sephora gave me training. They gave me an opportunity, like like I've said, learning experience. I had 20 clients a day, and you know, if I learned about products and I learned about techniques and I learned about what works here and what doesn't work here on different skin tones, texture, different skin types. I mean, I learned so much. So I don't think I would be the person or the artist that I am now if I never worked at Sephora, and that is the truth. So I'm forever thankful Sephora. I hope I can work there again. For those who don't know, we are moving to Tennessee this fall whenever Mike is done with Ranger School. So, and that's only 45 minutes from Nashville. So hopefully I can work at Sephora. If not, I'll still be doing my freelance. I will always just be doing freelance because I love it. Like weddings, proms, everything. That is, if I could do that every day I would, but it's kind of until you build your name. That's a whole nother story. I will end with Sephora is what you put into it. I am a different person because of it, and I really recommend and encourage you to get a job there. I hope this was what I intended it to be. I will see when I'm editing. I just feel like I rambled, but I feel like that's okay. So thank you so much for watching, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who watches my videos regularly and have subscribed, like my Instagram, I mean just everything. I'm just very thankful for just to be able to do this at this time, and I'm thankful for everyone who shares my posts and likes everything and watches my videos. It really just means so much to me, so thank you so much. If you of course have any questions, please leave them down below. You know, I have a lot of videos I'm trying to get up, and I know I say like I'm trying to get 2 or 3 up a week, and I haven't uploaded in a whole week. That is my fault. It's been a little crazy. I'm working on some other projects. Murph got spayed. Mike, we were both getting off being sick, so it's just been one of those weeks. I feel like I have those a lot. And I'm trying to just get more organized so I can upload more often. So I have some ideas in my pocket, but leave some down below in the comments if you were like, oh my gosh, you should totally do this, I want to see this. Please leave it down below. I'm always open to suggestions. If there are like a lot of questions that you have for me, I can do like a working at Sephora volume 2. Like I can do another video. So hopefully this is just gonna be kind of like my experience, but if you have specific questions about it, comment down below and I can do another video if you would like. And if you are new, please subscribe. Please subscribe, that helps so much. I really, really appreciate it, and I will see you ladies and men, whoever's watching. I'll see you gangsters next time. I'll see you next time.